Hey everyone, thanks for coming back. I'm going to tell you a story today, and the title of my story is The Book Bag. You might also know the word backpack. My mom always called it a book bag, and so I have the habit of calling it a book bag as well. If we've never met before, my name is Sharon. I'm so glad that you're here today. So I love telling stories, and I think that they're a very interesting and fun way to practice English listening and also learn a little bit about verb tenses sometimes. So today my story is called The Book Bag. We have a couple goals for today. There we go. So we're going to practice our listening, but also we're going to practice recognizing simple past and past progressive when someone tells a story. If you saw my video about past progressive versus simple past, you remember that we use the past progressive to describe scenes, especially when we're telling a story. So as I tell the story, try to pick out the verb tenses that I'm using and think about the actions that I'm saying with each particular verb tense. All right. So when I was growing up, I had 4 siblings, 2 older brothers and 2 younger sisters. My 2 younger sisters' names are Holly and Deanna. And they were like other normal kids. Sometimes they got along and sometimes they did not get along. So one day we were all in the kitchen and dining room. So I have a drawing of our house here. Let me kind of take you on a tour of our house so you understand where everything was. This was our table. This was where we ate dinner. This was the oven. Here was the dryer. This is where you dry your clothes. This was the washer. I'll write a little bit bigger so you can see better. This was the sink. We did not have a dishwasher. We did not have a lot of money growing up, so dishwasher was something we did not have. And this was the fridge, or the refrigerator, if you know that word. So it was a small kitchen, and also a pretty small dining room. And there are 7 people in our house, so everyone was always running into each other. And the dryer and the washer, the dryer door opened outward and the oven door opened outward. The washer, the door opened on top. So you can understand moving around in this kitchen was a little difficult because sometimes one door, if it was open, another door couldn't be open. So we were all kind of gathered in the kitchen and the dining room. And I remember it was either me or Nate, my older brother, were like, "What's that smell?" And it was strange because we hadn't eaten yet. It wasn't dinner time. Dinner wasn't for like another hour and a half or something. And we just kept smelling it, like we were smelling something very strange. You know, it didn't smell like food. It didn't smell like anything that I'd ever smelled before. And so we went down to talk to my mom, and we said, "Mom, something smells really weird in the dining room." And she comes in and she's like, "What's in the oven?" And I was like, "I don't know. I didn't put anything in the oven." She opens it up, and there's a book bag in the oven, and it was melting through the oven rack and like pooling on the bottom of the oven. And she was just like, "Who did this?" And I was like, "It wasn't me. I didn't do it." And I know Nate and Philip didn't do it because they were with me. So we kind of looked around and wondering where my 2 younger sisters were. So my mom yelled, like, "Holly and Deanna, where are you?" And Holly comes out, Holly came out, and she was so upset because this was her backpack. And so it seemed pretty obvious that Holly would not do that to her own backpack. And so there were left only one person, and that was Deanna. And we found out later that Deanna was upset about something that Holly took from her. We don't even really remember what set her off. But she just put that backpack into the oven, flipped the door up, turned on the knob all the way to broil. So like 500 degrees, and then just walked away. That was what happened to Holly's backpack. All right. So I'm going to wrap up that story, and now I want you to think about, oh, I forgot to show my pictures. So we have, this is an oven. There's the oven rack. So you can imagine that backpack just kind of sinking through the oven rack and pooling at the bottom. And that was kind of an example of what her backpack looked like. It wasn't a really nice one. It was probably a pretty cheap plastic one, so I don't think it took much to make it melt. All right, so we're gonna, I want you to go back and listen again. Do you recognize any of the times that I used past progressive? I remember two very specific times that I used it. I said the book bag was melting, right? And pooling. Oh, sorry, to make that line. Pooling on the bottom, right? So think about what that means. I'm describing an action that was in progress at the time. We both know that it's not still going on, but it was important for me to use past progressive there because I was describing this action that was in progress as I was telling the story. Think about the times that I used simple past, when I was just giving facts about my sister's names, about the layout of our house, where the oven was, the kitchen doors, right, and just giving facts. Then I was using the simple past. All right, so I think this was a fun practice today. I hope you enjoyed my story, and I will see you next time.